The death of Fort Hood soldier Vanessa Guillen is drawing calls for a congressional investigation. Here at home, local veteran groups are calling on the community to demand their elected leaders to look into the military base. Mariah Medina has more on their concerns.
Dozens of local leaders gathered outside the federal building downtown this morning.
We demand justice for Vanessa Guillen.
Adding their voice to calls for a congressional investigation into the death of Vanessa Guillen.
As a retired United States Marine, I am outraged.
The demonstration led by Bexar County's former Veterans Services Director, Queta Rodriguez.
Quite frankly, we've been very disappointed. Me as a veteran and our fellow veterans organizations here have not heard enough from our own elected officials. And so we want them to speak up, and we want their assurance that they are doing everything within their power to ensure that the investigation is done and that people are held accountable and that they're taking steps to end sexual harassment and assault in the military.
The demonstration comes after officials made an arrest in Guillen's death, though critics, including Guillen's family, say the military did not act with urgency when she disappeared in April. Court documents say Guillen was bludgeoned to death at Fort Hood before her remains were burned off base. Officials have charged one person with Guillen's murder. Another suspect, a fellow service member, took his own life before he could be arrested. During the search for Guillen, officials unintentionally found the remains of 24-year-old Gregory Morales, who disappeared in August 2019. Foul play is suspected in his death.
If we had a pistol missing from Fort Hood, we had a bayonet missing from Fort Hood, we'd have locked down that post. But here we have two PFCs, Mexicanos, come up missing, and nothing is done for a long period of time.
The groups are asking for people to call their elected leaders and demand that a closer look be taken at Fort Hood and the death of Vanessa Guillen. Mariah Medina, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.